Hello, hello. Hi, everybody. Good to see you guys here. Look at everybody already interacting. Excuse me. It is so nice to see you here. Welcome, welcome. Wow, we've already got just a whole group of people here. So let me jump in. Mel, great to see you. Kim, great to see you. I already posted a couple little things in the chat before I got started to Pat. And oh, hi, Paula. It's nice to see you. And Karen, it is so nice to have you here. You are the inspiration behind much of what we're going to talk about tonight, you and Lucy. And I can't wait to share some of the highlights and some of the insights that have come through from the beautiful Lucy. And Sharon, how you doing? Cheryl, how you doing? Okay, let's see. So I only have, this is live video. So I will always start by saying, for those of you catching this on the replay, you can always scroll through a couple minutes unless you want to catch some of the comments or join some of the community like we chit chat in the first couple of minutes. For example, I only have one contact lens in. So guys, I just had a little accident with one. So we're winging it. I'm going to be looking out of one eye or the other. And I got to tell you, I don't normally do this. I have long hair and I don't normally wear my hair in ponytails, but tell me, Karen, because when I just felt like I should put my hair in ponytails. So there's something about ponytails and Lucy that comes through, or anybody like that. When weird inspiration like that comes through to me, I always point out the unusual. I always point out from Logan, if I'm not mistaken, the day that it snowed on April 1st while the sun was shining and it was a beautiful 60 degrees outside. Okay, so let's see. Who else am I want to saying hello to? We are saying hello to Cheryl and Sherry. It's great to see you. Sherry, we need to get in touch so that we can coordinate the stuff. I have it on my list of things to talk about for the class that's now going to start June 11th. Let's see, Jess, it's nice to see you. Don't worry about being tardy, guys. And look, I've got a little bit of hair thing going on here. It's probably because I put my hair in these ponytails. Okay, let's see who else we got. Mel, I already said hello to you. It's good to see you. And bought a deck of Oracle cards. Yes. I am going to make believers out of all of you yet. And maybe when I share some of the things that I have to share tonight, more people will become believers. And by believers, I mean that there is so much more going on in this beautiful life than we are taught to understand. And so many people are waking up to this that I just love it. And I can't wait to, like me, I'm one of those newly awakened people. And I love sharing all the things that I am receiving from the other side. Rosie, good to see you. Aaron, how you doing? How's your buddy Kuda? And I just have to share this real quick, guys, because one of the things that if you guys have ever had a reading with me, private readings are a little bit longer. They're actually a lot longer than the little mini readings that I do on the live streams. But I look for synchronicities, and not just synchronicities, but coincidences. I look for synchronicities that really demonstrate that we have this connection with animals on the other side of life. Again, for lack of a better word, other side of life. The name of a dog named Kuda and the name of his human companion, a last name Rich, is directly related to me personally. And there's no way that we can just say, well, that's just a coincidence. If someone close to me is named Rich and Barracuda. And yeah, so anyway, it's just one of those things that I love to validate, that there is no way that we can make this stuff up. When our animals on the other side reach out to us to connect and to show us signs and to give us concrete, indisputable signs that we are still connected with them, even though they're no longer in their physical body. It's just unmistakable. So anywho, Aaron, I always think of that when I think of Kuda. Okay, Rosie, Karen again. Not that I know of with the ponytails. A client today had ponytails from Paula, first time ever. I never wear. I mean, this is silly. It's silly, but I just felt this need to do that. Jackie, it's good to see you. Carmen, nice to see you as well. Jackie, again, we need to get in touch. You had sent me a message about Bobby, so I'll make sure to get back to you about Bobby. Shelly, nice to see you too. Okay, I think we're good. Sharon, I bought the Kyle Gray Angels and Ancestors. All right. So we had a couple little comments about, and then I have a couple of housekeeping items, and then we will move on to the information that I have to share about sacred bonds. Sacred bonds is what I called it. Somebody last week had mentioned soul contracts with animals, and it was so interesting the way these synchronicities work. Then another person recommended to me a book called Animal Soul Contracts. I, in turn, recommended that to Karen when we were talking about Lucy. And I've since read the entire book. And it's okay. I don't agree with everything, but it gives me such amazing insight. And all of us are on a little bit different spiritual journey. And I trust all of it. I trust that the information that is meant to come through to me does. And so I got some beautiful information from that. And then a third person started talking to me about this thing called sacred bonds. So it all ties together. And last week on this live stream last week in episode 23, I mentioned that we would talk about soul contracts, but I'm going to call it sacred bonds. And it's some really, really insightful stuff. I would love to know, keep your comments and questions. Every few minutes, I'll go back and review the comments. Normally, I try to disregard the comments until the very end, but I love this to be interactive, and I love to be able to answer your questions as they come up. So you brought up oracle cards. I love them. Go to your local metaphysical bookstore, go to your local crystal shop, rock shop. They usually all have oracle cards. Sometimes it's become very commercial, and all kinds of people make all kinds of oracle cards. And then on top of selling you the oracle cards, they used to come included with the little book that explains the meaning behind the cards. Now, the way that oracle cards are being done, you get the oracle cards, and then you must purchase separately the book that goes with them. It's also commercial. I wish that everything could be, we have just such a beautiful spiritual community. I want to be able to make it all free to you guys. So the reason I bring that up is because Kyle Gray is one of the few who still includes all of his materials and with his cards. And he's a very good oracle card creator. He resonates with me. You will find the one that resonates with you. He does resonate with me. He's the one who, this is my favorite deck, and the one that I use for readings when we do private readings, the Angels and Ancestors deck. It comes with the book. You can get a little mini version as well, like if you like to travel with it, if you want to carry it around with you. And that one I don't think does come with the book, but anyway, these are my favorites. And I love Kyle Gray. He's very good about sharing information from a real world perspective about all things metaphysical and spiritual, like angels. Very, very cool. All right, let's stick this back there. All righty. Hi, Jen. How are you? We are doing good tonight. Okay. How do you feel about spirit expos? Well, if you want to go and really meet some cool people, I do all kinds of things spiritual. I am the converted type A corporate control freak who likes to just practice all things metaphysical and spiritual. And I like to say about this channel that what we are here is a very unique pet loss support community. There are many pet loss support communities out there. I recommend many of them for those who are suffering from grief after the loss of a pet. When you want to connect with a group of people who have felt what you've felt and have a common place to share your grief and work through some of those things. This channel takes a very unique spin on pet loss support because we do go into spiritual with a heavy dose of the woo. So there is some hairy fairy, hippy dippy woo stuff that I love to put into this, but only because I've experimented with it myself, explored it myself. I won't ever share with you anything that I have not explored for myself. Okay, one more check of the comments. We're at 9 minutes. I really want to get into some of the details. I found a woo-woo crystal store. Oh, yeah, awesome. I love it. A tarot card class. Very interesting. I've never taken a tarot class. Tarot is a little, I don't like rules. I'm the one who says throw the rule book out. And tarot is generally driven by a very specific set of things that you're supposed to do. But you can practice tarot without that also. Hard to find places that have workshops and teachers with the woo-woo stuff. So I have found a place here, and as always, the sun shines right as the sun shines right in my face as we begin. So I'll get up in a second and take care of that. I have found a metaphysical bookstore here in Denver that does offer classes and teachers and woo-woo, and we're all normal. Is anybody normal? We're all run-of-the-mill average people. We're not driving around in Ferraris and have $1 million homes, and we're your everyday average person who has understood that we now have a spiritual connection and we love to share. So that is the Goddess Isis Bookstore. If anybody is in the Colorado area or is watching this on the replay, First Fridays with Charles. Awesome. We get together in person and practice all of our spiritual stuff. Okay, let's get down to the details here. I'll come back and check comments again in a minute. I have Peaceful Crossings is the name of the service that I offer that helps people. It's how Karen and I came together. That helps people who are preparing for the eventual transition of their animal companion. So their animal is either aging or has been diagnosed with a terminal or chronic illness, and they don't want to be faced with those decisions at the very last minute when we're in the least possible place that we can make those decisions. So I offer the service called Peaceful Crossings, and it is a full, complete support system. I will do everything that you need, whatever you need, whether it is making arrangements with a veterinarian, finding you in-home care, working with your own veterinarian, working for the aftercare of your animal's precious remains, transportation, all of those things. Okay, the angels are shining. Hang tight. That should do the trick. Okay, back we are. And I will do anything so that you don't have to have that burden when the time comes for your animal companion to make their transition. And the reason that I'm sharing that is because there's not many people that I'm aware of that offer this kind of service. So I do two things. The first thing is I offer that service, and I do it anywhere. It doesn't matter. I'm located in Colorado. Karen is in a whole nother state in a different part of the country. I have a client who I will mention a little bit later on, who is in France. I can work with anybody anywhere because I understand, having worked at a pet funeral home, having worked with a veterinarian, having worked with a mobile vet, and my own Reiki practice, I understand how to pull together all the resources and how to get everybody on board. And I'm happy to be able to offer that service. So if you or your family or friends or anyone that you think could benefit from that service, please let me know, or please let them know to connect with me on Peaceful Crossings. And then the second part of that is I've started teaching it because I recognize that it is a gap in our holistic care for our animal companions. We have it for humans, we don't have it for pets. So if you are feeling the pull to actually be a mentor, you don't need any experience. The training is about getting people all the resources that they need so they can be that support system for people in their own area or online. There's nobody that I'm aware of who is offering this kind of support for our pets. So I want to help those people come forward and be able to help. So that class actually starts tomorrow, but I'm going to be offering it like once a month going forward. So please share if you know anybody, or reach out to me with a private message if you want to do that. Send me an email. That is fine. Well, I wrote down Hamish here. Hamish is the name of the animal that I am working with who lives in France. And if all I'm asking for this evening is that Hamish is approaching his transition, and humans are making every attempt to let Hamish pass on his own. But if it becomes too much, they are ready with veterinary care for assisted crossing. The humans for Hamish are they are emotionally prepared. They have done some preparation. You can never be fully emotionally prepared. We know this. We can think that we're going to be prepared, but we're not. So for Hamish, if you would just send out loving thoughts. It's a beautiful husband and wife who live in France. They are British, and their beautiful dog Hamish. And I can't remember his breed. He's a large, hairy breed. Not an Irish wolfhound, but close. So if you would please just send them loving thoughts. It doesn't matter if you've never seen them before, never heard of them. Sending out loving thoughts of healing, peace, beautiful transition, calmness. All of those thoughts go out to the universe. They go out to this beautiful, intricate, invisible web of energy that floats all around us, and it will make its way to them. Judy, nice to see you. Yeah, and that is that I get that comment a lot, Judy, that people say, "I wish that I'd had known such a thing existed." I don't think anything like this ever did exist. And I've only recently been called to create this service in the past 18 months, I guess, since I started practicing Reiki with end of life animals and sharing Reiki with end of life animals. It evolved into this. So the more we can get people who want to be able to help others, the better it'll be. And the last thing is, starting June 11th, I've been talking about this little mini class, the pay as you go, pay what you can class. And I had it scheduled to start for last Thursday. We only had one person sign up, and I take, you know what? Divine timing. I call it divine timing. I was a little behind with the trip to Florida, so it's just now that is really come to fruition. So I pushed back the start date to June 11th. Anybody who wants to join, I will keep posting that regularly in our community tab, that you are welcome to join those classes. And it's going to be like 30, 45 minutes. We're just going to do some introductory things like intro to animal communication, intro to animal Reiki. It won't be longer than an hour. And some other fun things that I have planned for you guys. Okay, that's enough of the housekeeping stuff. All right. We want to talk about sacred bonds. Sacred bonds. I keep wanting to say soul contracts, but the word contract to me really has a connotation of something that can't be broken, something that we enter into. We prick our finger with blood. We make a pact, and that's what we are stuck with. I believe that this is more like a sacred bond where we, in conjunction with other people, animals, angels, that before we incarnate here in this body, and we're going to get a little woo-woo. So if you're not down this spiritual path, I invite you to bear with me. I invite you to listen to what I have to say before you dismiss it, because I feel it strongly in my heart when I connect with these animals. This is the sense that I get so truly, not just with animals, but whenever I meditate and make a connection and step into my own higher self, I receive all these little downloads. So bear with me as I explain what I mean by this. So I have a few notes here. I'm just going to read them real quick. A sacred bond. It's an agreement between souls, and those souls can be people, animals, aliens, angels, ancestors. I love using all that little angels, aliens, ancestors, ancients. It can be but it's before you arrive here on planet Earth, before you're incarnated and born. There are some systems of belief, metaphysical, spiritual systems of belief, that believe there's like a council of people, and you sit with a council of people or a council of souls, and you decide all the things that are going to be your destiny when you arrive here on planet Earth. I'm not sold on that. I am more aligned with this bond of beautiful souls. Like, have you ever met somebody and you felt like you've known them all your life? Jackie and I have met in person. Mel and I have met in person. I believe that there are people that as soon as I meet them, I feel like I've known them forever. And even if I'm now in my 60s, even if I've just met them a year or two ago, or just a week or two ago, it feels like we have known each other forever. And I think there's a reason for that. And the same thing with animals. Look at my Winston, who appeared out of nowhere, literally was dropped on my doorstep by angels or aliens, because there's no way he could have gotten to me where I was in my RV in the middle of nowhere at the top of the Rocky Mountains. Winston, who showed up out of nowhere, who was my soulmate. I mean, we instantly bonded. The bond was instant, as if he had been with me my whole life. So these bonds between souls, whether it's animals or angels or ancestors, I joke about aliens, but you just never know. If anybody has ever listened to Zecharia Sitchin, you might be convinced that there are other species out there in the universe. But it's not written in stone. It's more of guidelines. So, for example, I picked an example starting a little bit with me, but it kind of goes off the rails a little bit. If I am a soul on the other side, and I decide that I want to experience life in a human body, and I want to experience it in all of its glory, and I have been here before, And I've done this before. I've done that before. Past, present, and future. Remember, there's no such thing. It's this. I always use this as my example of time, that it's all folded in on each other, and even more, it's all of a circle like this, and we can flow through two through, forward, backward. There are no rules on the other side. But I decide that for this incarnation, I would like to experience my life as in the body of a woman, and I would love to be a mother, and I would love to be the oldest daughter. I just pick some things, some general things about what I want to experience here. And perhaps I'm going to love nature, or I'm going to love animals, or I'm just kind of picking various things. And then as I decide this is really what I want to experience, it's like picking your ticket to Disney World. Like, do you want to go to Epcot Center? Do you want to go to Universal Studios? You just pick what it is that you think you want to do, and then you go explore and experience. So for me, if I say that I really wanted to have this deep connection and bond with animals, what's going to happen? Okay, so we're going to start off, you're going to be shy, and you are going to be so shy that you're afraid of your own shadow. And you are going to be, you're going to be afraid to speak up and speak out. And you are going to learn through your life what it's like to experience. You're going to have different experiences with different animals. Dogs are going to say, cool, we're going to be like your main animal. You're going to be a dog person. And every time we show up in life for you, we're going to show you something different. You're going to get a dog who bites somebody, and you're going to get a dog who cuddles, and you're going to have a dog come into your life who does this, that, or the other thing. And then the horse says, oh yeah, cool. You're going to, at some point in your life, you're going to remember that you are not shy, that you're a wonderful teacher, and you're going to step into your role as a teacher, and we're going to help you. We're going to help you find your way to teach. We're going to stand by your side, and we are going to be the kindest, most gentle souls that ever come into your experience as you teach your classes. And then we'll have an alligator who says, oh yeah, I am going to teach you how to meditate. Now, I'm telling you all those examples because that's what happened to me. All of those things happened to me. The alligator says, I'm going to teach you how to meditate. I'm going to teach you how to feel so grounded and so close and connected to the earth that you'll know what it's like to be an alligator. And then it's also people too. I was using examples of animals, but it's also people. And that's the kind of things that are a sacred bond. Think about yourself now. I've used some examples for me. Think about yourself and all of the animals who have been a part of your life, whether those who have recently transitioned or those who have been in your life in the past. What lessons have you learned from them? How have they helped you be a different person? What has been the overall experience? Was there ever, for example, let's say somebody is afraid of dogs or afraid of horses. What has that fear brought out in you? Perhaps you're afraid of dogs and it made you become a better custodian for kitty cats. There are so many different reasons why animals come into our life, but there is every animal comes into our life for a very specific reason. And when we start to recognize that and really listen to it and look at it and look back, I wouldn't have, when I had a dog who bit, I would not have considered that an experience that I'd ever want to have gone through. But now looking back in the past, I see what it taught me. I see what I was supposed to learn. I see that it directed me towards Reiki. I see that it directed me towards working with shelters and helping animals with behavioral issues. There's different reasons why they've all come into our lives. So the sacred bond between animals and people, we are bonded. And what that bond means is that there is an unbreakable chord. Whether an animal has been in our life for a minute or for a lifetime, we are directly connected to them. And the ones who we consider our soulmates, we have the most sacred bond with. And I'm going to explain that in just a second. But I'm going to look at the comments real quick. We are all connected and from divine source. Oh, we are all connected. That's something that everybody has to come to a realization on their own, is that none of us are separate. We are all divine sparks of God, Buddha, the universe, Allah. Again, I say whatever your belief in is in the creator, even if you're not. There's I don't want to say everyone, that's just too broad of a generalization, but I suspect that everyone watching this video has had some kind of instance where they have felt that they are truly connected to nature, where you've stood at the top of a mountain, or you've stood at a waterfall, or you've stood at a brilliant sunset over the beach, and you've just felt that connection and known that universal connection. Now, for me, I love to cultivate that connection. I specifically do it through meditation. I do it through nutrition. I specifically cultivate that oneness, but it's just something that I can't get away from. We are all connected. And it allows us, that connection allows us to be that support system for other people. It allows us to help others when we know that we are all connected. We've all gone through the same thing. That every one of you tonight has commented to Karen, has welcomed Karen into our group, is offering their condolences, even though we don't need condolences, but I will talk about that in a minute too, offering their support and their comfort for animals who have crossed to the other side, and for the people who are, and for those of us who are left behind and feeling that grief and that loss. More comments. They really teach us about ourselves. Often a test of patience. Yep, I won't disagree with you. Often a test of patience. Or developing our patience, right? But yep, let's see. A pet mommy, I would have rather stayed home with my pets than be around people. Well, isn't that interesting? Because there is that. Those of us who I had a little comment about that. I didn't bring my soul contracts book. It's over on the bed. That's okay. Those of us who are drawn more to animals than people, there's a reason. There's a reason why we are so connected to animals. It just happens to be our particular path. There are others who are we've talked a little bit about plant consciousness. I have a couple of friends who are very, very plant focused, who understand the way that all plants are connected, who understand that whole interconnection, who understand all of the spiritual components behind plants. I could go into all the kind of herbalism and stuff and flower essences and all that kind of thing. But the point is that we are drawn to animals. Other people are drawn to different things. And it is all one beautiful way of the universe expressing itself. Yep, definitely not alone in that. Asia's the first pup I've had who broke through my insecurity. Animals have a wonderful way of waking us up as individuals, for certain, for supporting us through anxiety, for supporting us through insecurities, through supporting us through everything, through relationships. There are so many ways that they support us. I'll read a couple more comments, then I'll go back to have my own pet sitting business. Yep. Karen Dog has taught me to be more patient. She's caring and delicate and special. I understand this now from my Gypsy. I love special needs dogs now. I can't see myself ever not having a special needs dog. I've had two, plus my other two seniors, Jack and Lucy, who I now call one dog, Jack and Lucy. So they've taught me so much. Our beautiful special needs companions. And people say to me when they look at Gypsy, "Oh, what a beautiful person that you have the patience and the ability. I could never have a blind dog." And I think I could never not have. I just couldn't. Nobody knows she's blind. She doesn't even know she's blind. But different topic, different day. She came from Puerto Rico, broke her jaw and ribs, and we don't know how. So Caroline, yeah, that's very interesting because that's the same thing. And I'm just going to share this little bit before I keep going on about the sacred bond. Gypsy also suffered the significant injury that caused her blindness, caused her to lose her eyes. Her one ear is broken. She has a split in her tongue. And the only thing that the doctor said, that the vet said, we don't know how she was injured. The vet said it had to be a crushing injury. And the only thing he could think of that would crush like that, and she's got like 3 white dots across her head. She's got a couple dots across her head, is to be crushed as a puppy, crushed by the jaws of another dog. And that's the only thing he can think of. And I won't go down the road that he told me because I just choose not to go there. And Winston, we also don't know all of his details. Why he ended up dumped is what we know that he had to be because of where he was. But when I meditated with my animal companions, I specifically asked, and now I won't because Gypsy has taught me I don't need to. When I specifically asked for insight as to what caused their injuries, the request was declined. So they chose to forget. They chose not to remember, and they asked me not to help them remember. They would much rather forget. Winston, in my meditation, gave me a very, very strong feeling that he didn't even know what I was talking about. And Gypsy simply said that she chooses not to remember. And I truly honor that. I believe that the animals now come into my life, going back to the sacred bond. They have come into our life at a specific point in time. Think about your animal companion, whatever animal companion you think of as your soulmate, who you have had a sacred bond with. I'm guessing that you most likely remember the moment that they came into your life. I remember the moment that both Winston and Gypsy came into all my dogs. I remember exactly when they came into my life. I remember exactly how they left my life. Gypsy hasn't left yet, but I remember it specifically because they've all come into our life for a reason. So knowing that we have this sacred bond, going back to my notes here for a sec, it doesn't make it easier when it comes their time to cross, but it does help us heal. It helps us understand. It helps us have more compassion for our animal companions and for the more compassion for other people who are going through this, who don't recognize that there's a sacred bond. But it does help us heal. There's a side effect of that, and that is guilt. So if I have my soulmate and I have a sacred bond, how could I ever assist my soulmate in their crossing? Or the other question I came up with was, but then if they're my soulmate and we have a sacred bond, why did they get cancer? Why did this happen to them? Why did that happen? Why then would my spouse leave the gate open and the dog escaped? Anything, any of those scenarios that you can think about that would bring you guilt. The answer is you decided it before you both came here into this incarnation. It was part of what you planned, just like the dog who bit. It was part of what was planned so that it's how they could best support you. And we knew it before we even came here. We forget it. It's the way that the whole system is, that the way that I understand it to be, is that we come here, we forget those things so that we can fully experience everything there is to experience here. And we little by little wake up to it. I can't wait to see all the things that I have yet to learn. There's so much more that I have yet to see, explore, learn, experience. And now I'm open to it. And I understand that I'm experiencing these things for a reason. And with each and every experience that I have with my animal companion by my side, the universe is expanding. Everything is expanding. We are all experiencing this together. This beautiful, glorious, confusing, complicated, weird life is just so wonderful to explore. And when we have an animal companion by our side, for no matter how long they're by our side, whether they're just here as a puppy, my little puppy Dudley, who wasn't with me for more than 6 months, taught me almost more than any other animal who's ever shared my life. And then there's Jack, who was with me for all 13 years of his life. It's just an amazing thing to experience with them by our side. So what that tells me is we can release the guilt. They don't hold us guilty because they know that they had agreed to this before they even came here. Why did my dog get cancer? To help us better understand how to live better lives, how to have better nutrition, how to be better animal caretakers for future animals that come into our life, how to make this whole experience, the quality of life, better for ourselves, for others, and for every other animal that shares this planet with us. So we experience this life together for the enrichment of everyone, for the enrichment of every living thing. Our animals came. Oh, I said that already. You remember when? And when okay, yeah, that is the last point that I want to make. First, I'm going to make comments before I do that, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit more about Lucy. I've grown up with adopted dog. Hang on a second. I missed a couple comments here. Okay, I'm going to keep on going. You guys are kind of chit-chatting among yourselves. Stopped when I lost Henry and Bailey. Decided to move out of state in 2016. Take care of a partner in Colorado. I remember them all too. Hurts my heart to think of their passing. Okay, so that's where I'm going to try to help ease some of that pain. And the topic could be Akashic records and pets. Oh my goodness. All right. For those of you who have never heard of the Akashic records, we can definitely go into the Akashic records and pets. I'm writing that one down. That's going way down the woo-woo spiritual hole, but there's some validity to this, and I won't go into it. I could start talking about Akashic records right now. I'm not going to. And for those of you who are really curious, stay tuned for next week. Okay, so the last thing that I want to say about this before I talk a little bit more about Lucy is that when they leave their physical body, so we all know the pain. I've absolutely been by your side. It's not sympathy, it's empathy. I know exactly. I've shared with you so many times the story. There's pets that I have not shared the story with. There is Bailey, who I will probably never share the story of. Also one of my greatest teachers. But Bailey's passing still is, after all these years, a very, very tender, guilty place. And so I work through that. I ho'oponopono, which is I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. In the Hawaiian tradition, I simply say now, I forgive me, I forgive me, I forgive me. So anyway, look, it's going to make me cry. Deep breath. Okay, I understand. I totally understand. From more than you possibly know, I understand. From allowing my children to have small critters, to have small pets, and treating them as trash. So many things. So the guilt, we can release it because our animal companions were partners in the decision. There isn't anything that we can do that our animal companions aren't fully aware of, that they don't know. And on the other side, they return to this beautiful place where there is no guilt. There is no hammer ready to drop on you because of something that you did. The lesson has been learned. The relationship has been cultivated, and it's still there. A sacred bond means that we are forever connected. It is eternal. It is infinite. Can you even wrap your mind around the word infinite? Your relationship with Logan, your relationship with Kuda, your relationship with Bailey and Henry, and I can't name all the pets. I try to do it though. I haven't posted the video yet, but I did a little short trying to name as many animal companions as I could on the other side. They don't hold us in judgment. All of those beautiful souls are connected to us forever and ever and ever and ever. We can't wrap our mind around the word infinite. Infinity, eternal, forever, forever, like no end, ever, 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 ever. There's a I want to say it's on Netflix, but it might, you never know with Netflix, like how things come and go, but it is a show about infinity, and they try to get you to understand what infinity really is. Blow your mind if you can watch the show about infinity and trying to wrap your mind around what that really means. It means, infinity means that if we could go up to the sky and part the stars, that there would be a whole nother universe behind that, and part that, and there'd be a whole nother universe behind that. That's infinite. It keeps going on forever. Your animal companion, hear this loud and clear. Your animal companion is you. It's you. Your souls, if we are all one, that means we are all one. We incarnate into different forms so that we can have different experiences, but I firmly believe it's one of the reasons why we feel such profound loss, because they're part of us. They are part of us. I feel very fortunate because one of my animal companions, Lucy, what I felt when she crossed is that she didn't dissipate into the ether. She did not become part of the other side of the veil. I felt her become me. I felt her go into me, and I didn't feel her go out of me. I felt her actually merge and meld with me. And now she's part of everything that I say, everything that I speak, everything that I do is part of her. I think that you guys can achieve that too. And I want to watch the time because I want to do this little meditation with you tonight that will help you meld with the soul of your animal companion on the other side, that will help you remember that you're not separate. There is no separation, and that the loss of their physical body is not the loss of them. It's just the loss of a physical body. Okay, let's talk a little bit about Lucy. I just can't wait for that day. Thank you, Kim. Sometimes my emotions get the better of me, and then sometimes also I get when I get on a subject that is not just me. Like there's me who's talking, and then when something just starts to flow, it's no longer me. All righty, let's share a little bit about Lucy, because Lucy is part of the reason why I wanted to talk about all of these topics. So let me share a little bit with you so that you can also share with Karen any of your thoughts. Lucy is, in her physical state, a 17-year-old Shetland sheepdog. And Lucy crossed this past Friday. Lucy and Karen were both part of Peaceful Crossings. They were one of the beautiful folks who reached out to me out of nowhere. I always say that, that there's no such thing as out of nowhere. Our animal companions know how to guide us to the people that we need. So Lucy, 17-year-old, beautiful Shetland sheepdog. Can you imagine? 17 years old. That's like 120 some years in humans, right? Somebody do that math for me. She was a very old soul, a very wise soul, is still. Her mama, as I mentioned, prepared to the greatest extent that we can possibly prepare for our animals crossing until the moment when it actually comes time for that. And then all those preparations fly out the window. That's why I love being able to create the support system, because it's all the things that you have to remember and go through. And sometimes even you can't even remember that you've made the preparations, because our minds are in a place and our hearts are in a place where we can't even think. And I was just so happy that I could be there for Lucy and her mama. But you can only prepare so much. This is what I wanted to tell Karen, that Lucy prompted you to prepare. She prompted you to be ready. And I think that is beautiful, I think if I had listened to Winston, that I would have been more prepared for when Winston crossed when I was not present. But Lucy prompted you to be ready. So it's almost as if she waited for her birthday, her 17th birthday, and knew that the time was coming soon. And she helped you. She guided you to prepare. And it helped you then to create that beautiful sacred space that allowed her to have a peaceful, beautiful, soft, if you can call a transition beautiful. I know that it leaves me filled with peace. It leaves me, when I leave a client's home, if I'm in person, and I do this in person and long distance. I wish I could go to France. At this point in time, I'm not going to France. It leaves me filled with the most profound sense of peace when I'm present. So then Karen said something to me that I think many of you can relate to. And if anybody would like to comment about this, please feel free to share the comments back and forth. I'm nothing without her. And I want to say you're absolutely right. You're nothing without her. But guess what? You are never without her. Ever, ever, ever. None of us is ever without our soulmate. With our beautiful, sacred bond, we have I want to say physical, even though it's spiritual, there is a cord that connects us to them on the other side of the veil, on the other side of life, that cannot be broken. Impossible. There's no thing, there's no scissor, there's no knife, there is absolutely nothing that can break that spiritual bond. They know that their physical body can't last as long as we would like them to. In fact, this is the quote that I got from Lucy. Lucy said, she stayed as long as doggedly possible. She wished that she could have stayed as long as humanly possible, but she knew that she could not. So she stayed with you as long as she possibly could. We are all the saying, I'm nothing without her. How do I go on? How do I continue my life? How do you not? Because to honor, this is not just for Karen, this is for all of us. This is for me too. This is for everyone who has an animal crossed to the other side. How do you not? It honors them. They knew what we knew. We both knew what we were getting into when we signed up for this, to have our animal companions come into our life. And we don't want it to end, but we know that it must. And so we honor their life by continuing our life. We honor the teaching, the joy, the comfort, the companionship that they gave to us freely, unconditionally, with such, unconditional, that's the word, with infinite love that never ends. We honor that love, and we honor our relationship, and we honor that sacred bond by continuing. And we can once again, I've talked about reincarnation before, but we can talk about it again. We can invite them back. We can invite them back, and they will come. It may not be exactly the same personality. It may be a different sacred bond that comes back to us, but we can invite them again and again and again. But reincarnation is really a topic for another day. But know that we honor them by continuing, and by continuing to experience, and asking them to experience with us. I said this last week. Jack's favorite. Now, I choose not to eat meat, but I will tell you, Jack's favorite food was kibasi. His absolute favorite food was kibasi. And he loved, I mentioned on his last day, he loved greasy buns. If we had a cheeseburger, he didn't care about the cheeseburger. He cared about the greasy bun. So if I can get myself a greasy old bun and taste it just so that he can taste it through my senses, I will do it every single time. So think about the things that your beautiful animal companion loved here on earth, and experience it with them, for them. Let them experience it through you. So I'm going to take a moment, and I'm going to look at some comments, and then I have a little bit more of a reading to do for Lucy, and I want to be able to do this meditation for you. I call it a meditation, but don't run away from the word meditation. Anybody who's new to the channel, don't run away from the word meditation. We're not going to sit on a pillow and chant. I'm going to take you through this little guided story to help you make a connection and remember your sacred bond with your animal companion. Okay, comments. What a wise soul, Lucy. Yep. Thank you guys for all the support that you are offering to Karen. They live through us. Yes, they do. They experience the physical world. 100 while they're in spirit. They can access all of our senses. Topic for another day, but yes, they can access all of our senses. They can see, taste, smell, touch, everything through us. Hawaiian Book of Forgiveness, going to dive into the Course on Miracles. Okay, yeah, the Ho'oponopono book. There are many Ho'oponopono videos out there as well. There's a couple of them. I have to go back and think of some of the people who do it the best. Yeah, the Course on Miracles. Aaron, let me know if you can get through it. I told you I bought the Cliff Notes for the Course on Miracles. Very, it's not written in a very, I won't go into it. And then there was me. Oh, yes, thank you. Resonate with you so much. Miss my little girl in the physical every day. 100%. Mel, that is such beautiful advice. Look to the clouds. I talk about signs all the time for a reason. Our animals send us signs all the time because it's like they want to kick us in the butt, shake us and wake us up and say, I'm still right here. And I miss the physical body too. Winston was my snuggler. I called him my little snuffleupagus because when he snuggled, he snuffled. And he made this like little snorty noise. I miss that so much. I miss it so. He was the dog who he would right here. He went right here every single time. So I get it, but they want us to know. So look to the clouds. Clouds are a beautiful way to receive a sign. I look to the clouds all the time. I see hearts, I see dogs, I see cats, I see angels. Let your imagination go wild. Your imagination is the quantum field. Your imagination is your greatest tool to connect you with the other side. Let your imagination go crazy. use it. Imagination, also topic for another day. Okay, let's I wish you could read for him. I will still do all these readings. I'm doing Lucy for a very specific reason, because Lucy, sometimes every once in a while, an animal like butts to the front of the line. But don't worry, if you have sent me a request at Read for My Pet, I will eventually, and I send out an email, I will get to them. I will not disregard anybody's request for a reading. If you want a private reading, you'll have to go to the link that I provide for private readings, which is SoulPet private readings. And we do a whole like 45-minute thing. Okay, so here's the reading for Lucy. And at the very end of this, we're going to do the healing pond. One or two of you, I don't remember who I did the healing pond meditation for. It might have been Judy, but I'm not 100% sure. So Lucy stayed as long as doggedly possible. Wish she could have stayed as long as humanly possible. She wants you to ask questions. That specifically came up. And there's a couple, this kind of went out of order how it normally does, but I just go with the flow. And remember, I do everything unfiltered. Wants to be asked questions, wants to prove to you that you can go on without her, because you are never without her. You will not ever be without her. So she wants to be able to prove that to you, and you can ask her any questions that you want. What do you need? There's something that you need that you can ask, and she will direct you. And it's going to be one of the things that proves to you that she's still there. So what do you need? She can direct you. Tell her what you need. Specifically, tell her what you need. It doesn't matter, even if that need is for her to come back. Then you tell her that. Tell her that. There's no limits. There is no limits to the other side. You tell her what you need, and she will make it happen. And then what came up was the armchair. And Karen, there's a couple things that I mean, there's lots that I don't know about you. But this came up specifically, the armchair. And in particular, it was at being an armchair quarterback. She is the armchair quarterback. She can tell you what the next right move is. So they know what it is that we're supposed to do. Let her be the armchair quarterback. She can see from her perspective now exactly what needs to be done, and she will tell you. She can help you know what that is. And then came the part where I ask. So I normally ask for evidence first. I ask for some evidence about things that that might demonstrate to you that this is the animal that we're connecting with when I do these little readings. But since I felt like I knew Lucy, when animals are unfamiliar to me, I let myself be unfiltered. Like, I know that there's nothing that I know about them, so I let myself freely receive all the information. But if it's the animal companion of a family or friend, I struggle with that because I know so much about them, and so struggle maybe is not the best word, but I don't always trust the information that comes through because I already know so much of that information. But now comes the part that some of the things that I don't know where they came from. Electric sunshine. Does that mean anything to you? Electric sunshine. And there was panting. Sweating like a dog is the phrase that came through, even though dogs don't sweat. Panting, heat. That's not true. They do sweat through their paws, but different. Not relevant that I'm aware of. Panting, heat, sweating like a dog, purple sunglasses. Salivating. A sign that says no solicitation. That don't know. I just had like this picture of a sign like at a front door where people say no solicitation. A fingernail moon. I don't know what the moon was on Friday, but I had the sense of a fingernail moon, like that beautiful sliver of a moon. I could just see that sliver of the moon over the ocean. I just had this visual of a night sky, the ocean, and the beautiful fingernail moon. Also loud birds. I don't know who the loud birds are, but you can validate for me anything that might come through about, or not, about any of these things. Loud birds and a beautiful moth. And this came up with the visual of the moon. So those moths that have like circles on their wings, like a new moon circle, like a dark moon on the back of their wings. I had the picture of a beautiful moth. Nicotine. I don't know what's up about nicotine, but I wrote down the word nicotine. So I'm not sure what that means. You have been on many journeys together. So she let me know that one of the things she wants to validate for you is that this is not your first time together. You have been together many times, and we called her an old soul at 17 years, and it makes her chuckle because she's an old soul of 17,000 years, an old soul of many, many, many iterations. She gave me a visual of you, and at one point she was a white horse, and you were riding bareback on her, and that your souls are so connected that she welcomed, you were joined together, and riding bareback is probably one of the most personal, one of the most deeply connected things that a human and a horse can do together. And that's the visual that I got of her, is a vision of you on a white horse bareback. She suggests that you meditate. Now, I know, Karen, that you are open to some very spiritual things. She suggests that you take a day and just do nothing but sit with her spirit, sit with her soul. Just be with her for a day. Let everything else go. Be with her and let her come through to you, and she will come through to you. Most of you know that I do automatic writing, channeled writing. I sit down and I allow my pen to write all these thoughts that come through. And that's, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that at all. You can draw, you can do anything, you can color, whatever it is that allows her full presence to come through to you. She wants to be able to share that space with you. And she's also the one who suggests that I do the healing pond meditation, which is what I'm going to do for you guys. It's not going to be it's going to be the healing pond meditation for whoever wants to do this. And I'm going to just read comments first before we do that, because at the end of the healing pond meditation, I'm just going to kind of close things down. So if there's any questions that anybody wants to ask Karen, if you have questions that you want to ask Lucy, like some follow-up stuff, you let me know right now. Questions from anybody else. Two different clouds form two different images of Gary. I know that Gary orchestrated the whole thing. 100%. They have the power. They have the ability to manipulate energy however they can in order to get through to us. And clouds are easy. Clouds are so easy. Clouds are just, I don't even know what a cloud is. That you want to be able to touch them. You want to be able to reach them. You want to be able to look out the window. You want to be able to look up into the sky and know that there's substance to them, but there's nothing. They're fluff. So easy energy for our animal companions to manipulate. I found feathers. Feathers, another sign, all the time. I've got so many feathers in my space. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, the amount of feathers, because every one I consider to be a gift from my animals and a reminder for my animals on the other side. It turned into all three of my cats. Replay and dissected all for each of my fur balls. Send it to Elaine with open heart clouds. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yep. I've got you guys send me pictures all the time. I love it. Please send me everything. Send me everything you've got. Maybe I'll start doing that too, posting some of the things that you guys send me, because there's some amazing photos that I've been sent. Can my dog spirit manifest in a bird? I had a bird last week looking at me like wanting to talk. Yes, they can. We've got to get back on the reincarnation talk again. Our animal companions can come back to us in any form that they choose. And yes, they can. If you even question, I wonder if that bird's trying to talk to me, then the answer is yes. 100% yes, because you wouldn't get that thought unless it was actually happening, that the bird was trying to connect with you. And then you say, oh, but I missed it. I thought it wasn't real, so I didn't. So ask the bird to come back, because they'll come back. Or ask your animal companion to come back to you as another animal. They will come back. I've told you guys this story a million times, but I will always tell it. The bird that sat on my windowsill, outside my window for almost 2 hours when I don't have a windowsill. I took pictures of him, and there's no explanation for how that bird got to be there. When you say sit with them for a day, do you mean meditate or just focus more during the day on signs? It can be anything, but the sense that I'm getting for Karen was that Lucy wants her to actually just spend a day with her as she normally would. I did write down the word meditate, but take a day and just sit with her. Be with her. Allow Lucy to share a day in the life of Karen. That's what she wants. She wants you to spend the day and know that she is with you every step of the way. But can it mean just focusing on the day during looking for signs? Absolutely. If you wanted to spend a whole day asking your animal companion to send you signs, they'll send you signs all day long. They will send you signs all day long. And when you are open to receive, when you are willing and open to receive and not questioning and letting go of your resistance, like going, am I making this up? That's resistance. It's okay. We all have it because we're kind of trained like that. We are trained to be skeptical. We are trained not to believe in this stuff. And part of my goal and the goal of the animal collective, which is all the animals who I've worked with on the other side and all of your animals that you've brought into this community, they all are this beautiful spiritual thing now. They'll send you signs all day long. Look for feathers, look for coins, look in the clouds, listen for their name to be called. Everything that they will send you signs all day long, and you will know that it is real. Okay, so Karen says nothing clicked. It's okay. Totally okay. Because here's the other thing that we get, that there is, since there is no sense of time on the other side, you may see these signs over the next week or two. I call them Easter eggs, like the Easter eggs that are hidden, and all of a sudden you'll find this beautiful little Easter egg, or you'll see a billboard with someone wearing purple sunglasses, or you'll see it could be future signs that Lucy is sending, things to look for as you're going about spending the day with her. It'd be great to see all the pictures. All right, let's continue to make myself. God, I scroll so many notes. I have so many of these notebooks to see photos. I will show you photos of clouds and feathers, and I have shared the photo of my Jack's street art that you guys can go back and take a look at. Right after a while, it sinks in. Thank you, Cheryl. That's exactly the way it works. Now, sometimes there are things that come through right away. There were some things that came through right away for. I'm trying to think of an example for Logan. There were some things that came through right away for Kuda. There are some things, Fresca. There are some things that come through right away, but others they trickle in, and they're signs from the future. And you'll wake up one morning and there'll be a song on about electric sunshine. There'll be something that comes through. The fingernail moon. Perhaps that's the moon under which you will be sitting when you get a sign from her. There is no way to tell. So just let it kind of filter in. And here's the other thing. I love to do these readings a couple weeks to a month after an animal has crossed to the other side, when we've had a chance to settle into the emotions that we've been going through, when we've had a chance to start to readjust our own psyche to our current life as it is, to let some of the denser emotions kind of evaporate and be replaced with some of the lighter emotions. And sometimes that helps too, but there's nothing wrong. There isn't, we can't do anything wrong. So the fact that Lucy wanted to come through today and share these things with you, I honor it and trust it. And I always do it unfiltered. Whatever comes through to me, I do not filter it. Let's see. Grief is like a heavy blanket. It sure is. Grief is like a weighted blanket that's hard to lift up and harder for them to connect. Thank you for sharing that, because I do share that our grief kind of is way down here while they are way up here. I call it in the parking garage, and they're up in the penthouse. And if we can find a way to meet in the lobby, that's how sometimes these signs come through. So don't stress about it. Nobody is doing anything wrong. You're not missing anything. It will all start to come together, and that weight will start to lift. And if that's what you're meant to ask Lucy, if that's what you're meant to do, is to ask her to help lift that weight from you, our animal companions can do that for us as well. Okay. Yeah, that's a great way to say it. Thank you. Okay, so we are at 1 hour and 4 minutes, and I want to take you on this little journey. So if you can bear with me for a couple more minutes, or if you do need to go and you need to come back to this, you can. So if you are in a place where you can relax and close your eyes, that's what I'm going to invite you to do. If you are driving or doing something right now where you can't actually do that, you can always listen to my words, but you'll want to come back into it at a time when you can close your eyes. So I'm going to ask you, if you are in a place where you can sit and be comfortable, just to sit and close your eyes. And I always close my eyes during this. It just kind of helps the words to flow through me a little bit better. And I'm just going to invite you to start to focus on your breath. Focusing on your breath is a beautiful way to let go of some of those external stressors. Allow your mind to breathe. And as you breathe in, I want you to really visualize that you're breathing in love and lightness and fresh energy. Feel it breathing into you. Let your body sing as it feels all that beautiful fresh air coming into it. And as you exhale, imagine releasing anything that doesn't serve you, any of those denser emotions. Just let them float out into the air. Breathing in beautiful, loving energy, releasing fear, releasing doubt, releasing worry. Breathing in love, light, peace. Imagine that you're breathing in some calmness, and it's almost like displacing sadness, grief, worry. So we're changing the balance with each breath, allowing our body to fill with light and calm and peace, and releasing the things that are heavier, the things that are denser, that we don't need in this minute. They may come back, or you may feel them trickle in even as we talk about this. It's okay. Focus on your breath, breathing in and breathing out. And I want you to see behind your eyes. Allow yourself to visualize, and even if you think that you're not good at visualizing, you can just listen to my words. You're not going to do anything wrong. You can't get it wrong. Our animals won't let us. Love trumps everything. Focus on love. Feel love. And behind your eyes, there may be a darkness. That may be all that you see is darkness. Some people see colors. Some people see little dots of color. Some people see waves of energy. Whatever you happen to be visualizing and focusing on right now is perfect. But I want you to try to visualize that there's a door right in front of you. And the door is dark. It's almost like you can see like the edge of a light around the door, as if you were in a dark room and on the other side is a light room. And I want you to reach out and touch the door. And the door can magically open if that's what you'd like to see, or you can grab a door handle and open the door and let the light in. Let the light flood that dark space. And the light is so bright that you almost can't make out anything through the light. It's like walking out into the sunshine for the very first time from a dark space. And the sunshine is so bright. And I want you to step into that sunshine and allow your vision to adjust. And as your vision adjusts, you see that you are in a really nice little meadow, a field. It's an outdoor space. And there's grass. There might be trees. There might be flowers. Everybody's little meadow is going to look different because it's yours. It's only yours. It will always only be yours. So think about it for a minute. What would it look like? Is the sun shining on you? Are there some clouds in the sky? Do you feel a breeze blowing on you? Do you see a tree? Maybe there's a little deer hanging out over at the side. And I want you to walk through the meadow because you can see that right in front of you, coming up to you, is this beautiful pond. And I want you to walk up to the pond. and see the pond. Are there cattails or reeds? Try to use your senses. What do you see, hear, smell? Can you hear crickets, frogs, the breeze blowing through the reeds? There's an opening at the edge of the pond, perfect for you to sit down at. And I'd like you to sit right at the edge of the pond. The water is almost right up to you, but where you sit is comfy and soft and dry. If you wanted to reach out and touch the water, you could. And I want you to sit right there at the edge of the pond and look across the pond. There's another opening across the pond, and your beautiful animal companion steps out of trees, steps out of their side of the meadow, and sits right down on that side of the pond. They're directly across from you. Just sit with them for a few minutes, look at them. And watch now as your beautiful animal companion, with whom you share a sacred bond that is never broken. They touch their paw, or they touch their hoof, or they touch whatever part of the body, they touch the water. And they allow from their beautiful paw touching the water, they allow the love in their heart, they allow the sacred bond to come through their little paw and flow into the water. And they infuse the water with love and healing energy and a knowing and a connection and the sacred bond. They fill and flood and saturate that water with it. It flows into every molecule of the water. Their magic flows into that pond. It almost makes the pond glisten and sparkle. The pond almost comes to life. It's amazing what they have infused that pond with. And they purify that water. That water becomes nothing but pure, beautiful, positive love. And they invite you to drink from that pond. And you reach down with your hands and you cup that beautiful water and you bring it up to your mouth and you drink. Drink in the love, drink in the healing, drink in the connection, and know that you are connected to them through that water. When you can't feel them here physically near you, drink them in. And now, more than just from the palms of your hand, you, like a beautiful animal, like a beautiful tiger, like a beautiful lion, like a beautiful deer, you lean your head down to the water and you slake your thirst. And you drink in everything. You drink in that beautiful, pure, loving water, the healing energy that your animal companion has sent to you. And feel them now. They have now disappeared from the other side of the pond because they are the water. And you are drinking them in and you are bringing them into your body. And you are becoming them and they are becoming you. Feel it, know it, trust it, believe it. Drink as much as you need to. And now you are very gently going to let that scene begin to fade. You have infused them into your body. That water has entered into your soul. Know that you can never be disconnected from it. Know that you can come back to this healing pond at any time and connect with them. They will come here as often as you need them to, every minute of every day, if that's what you need. You are one with them. They are one with you forever and ever for all time. And as the scene has really begun to fade, you're bringing your focus back to your body. Your focus is drawn back to your breath. You're breathing in, breathing out, feeling rejuvenated, feeling reunited, feeling forever connected. And allow yourself to bring your focus fully back to your body, fully back to your breath. You're breathing again, you're moving, wiggling as you need to. And whenever you are ready, gently open your eyes. Wipe away any tears that may be there. The water. The water that they've given to you. Okay, nice deep breath. Rolling shoulders, fully back to the present. I also like to say maybe look around your room because you really want to reground and recenter yourself again. Oh, nice deep breath. Look around your room for anything that helps you feel centered again. Look at a picture, look at shoes, look at a rug, look at whatever it needs to be. If you have water present, take a drink. Okay. I'm going to take a last look at comments and then we're going to wrap this up for tonight until we talk next week. And you are all welcome. Please share with your friends. Whatever we again, if this is a unique form of support for pet loss with a heavy dose of spiritual woo-woo. I'm going to just see. Rosie, I'm so happy you found us too. I love all you guys. You are so welcome, everyone. Sending everyone much love. To all of you, may animals light your way. Until next week, take care. Goodbye, my friends. Good night. If I can make this end, good night.